Hello and welcome to the Dark Wolf's Den Show, your home for the paranormal, politics, and much, much more, exclusively on Censored Freedom Network. Now, here is your host, Jerry the Dark Wolf Hicks.
Thank you so much, Roger, and thank you everybody for being here tonight on the Dark Wolf's Den Show. Quick shout out to all of our new listeners across all these different platforms you see behind me here. Glad to have all of you guys along for the ride. Appreciate you joining the Wolf Pack. How yeah, that's right. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we have a lot of information to go over, a lot of stories to touch on today. Pretty random stories, to be honest with you, but definitely important nonetheless. Also, we have an update on the drones, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Right after the show last night, right as I was getting it uploaded, I got a message from Miss Cynthia Sue Larson, good friend of mine, and she sent me a X link that had a lot of information about the drone situation. Folks, you're going to want to hear this. This completely changes the game. That's right. But before we get into that, folks, as you guys know, we tried to first touch on the politics. That's right. So we're going to start out tonight, as we always do, with our top news stories. Of course, RFK Jr. today, ladies and gentlemen, was up for confirmation, and the Democrats tried to destroy this man. Now, why is this interesting? Because for as long as I can remember, up until very, very recently, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was a Democrat. He was a fully line-toting Democrat. I can't think of the word I'm looking for right off the top of my head. But so today he's being confirmed for the Health and Human Services Secretary. Well, this is a very, very powerful position. This is to do with the health of all Americans. This is controlling the FDA and big pharma and all these different things he'll have influence over. Well, that doesn't quite sit very good with certain people like Miss Elizabeth Warren, for instance. But then again, that woman thinks she's a Native American, so take that with a grain of salt, won't you? But let's hear it in her words.
I'll comply.
Hold on.
Benefited them. You could change vaccine labeling. You could change vaccine information rules. You could change which claims are compensated in the vaccine injury compensation program. There's a lot of ways that you can influence those future lawsuits and pending lawsuits while you are Secretary of HHS.
Does she sound concerned about defending the people of her district? Not to me. Does she sound concerned with the health of the people in this country overall? Doesn't sound like it to me.
With all the ethical guidelines.
That's not the question. You and I, you have said
You're asking me, Senator, you're asking me not to sue vaccine pharmaceutical companies. Not.
Yeah, that's basically what she was getting at.
Yeah, you are. That's exactly what you're doing.
Look, no one should be fooled here.
You got that right, Elizabeth.
Secretary of HHS, Robert Kennedy will have the power to undercut vaccines and vaccine manufacturers.
So who does it sound like she's concerned with, ladies and gentlemen? Does it sound like she's really concerned with the citizens of this country? Or is she more concerned with Big Pharma and the vaccine manufacturers that he could actually make pay if he becomes secretary, right? That he could actually let the American people have justice upon if he becomes secretary of Health and Human Services. These are the people that are fighting against him, folks. Big Pharma is scared to death that he's actually going to get in and do something good for the American people. That's how much the Big Pharma hates you. You're not nothing more than a number to them. Understand, a cured patient is a lost patient, and they don't like losing money. So are they going to cure you, or are they going to give you something to keep you right at the edge of sick? I think we both know the answer to that. If you've ever had the unpleasure of taking some of these pharmaceuticals that have come out, or if you've ever seen somebody who's ruined their absolute life because they got hooked on pharmaceuticals because they had to have a surgery. And who wins in that? Big Pharma. It definitely isn't the consumer. It definitely isn't the American that's stuck with a habit that they can't break because they had to have a surgery that is questionable whether or not they even had to have. Because let's not forget, Big Pharma owns most of the doctors in this country. They're right in their back pocket. You ever notice you go to the doctor and walk out with some type of pill every single time? Every time they want to give you some kind of pill, some kind of prescription. No, I think I had it right the first time. Subscription. Because that's what it is. They want you to get a subscription to Big Pharma. Tell me I'm wrong. Please tell me I'm wrong. I know I'm not. Ladies and gentlemen, that's not all going on. The propaganda remains strong with the left as we have the Michigan AG who has basically lost her bloody mind as she goes on a lie-filled rant to the American people, trying to sway people to her opinion, I guess.
I'm Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel. Last night,
I am Soros-funded and promoted Attorney General Dana Nessel is what she actually meant to say there, folks.
the federal government issued a devastating memo freezing critical federal funds, and we're already
They sure did freeze some critical federal funds. They absolutely did.
seeing the effects across Michigan.
No, you're not.
From Medicaid to Head Start to essential
That's a lie.
services like unemployment insurance.
Ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you right now, that is not the case because she's trying to claim this is happening all across America. I can absolutely guarantee to you that no unemployment benefits have been harmed in the making of these executive orders or the signing of them. I'm not going to tell you why I can guarantee that, but I can 110% guarantee that unemployment benefits are not halted.
This freeze is threatening programs that millions of Michiganders depend on
That's another lie.
for their daily survival.
So unless they're depending on things being funded in Ukraine, it is not affecting Michigan at all.
So today, my office joined 22 other state attorneys
I bet they're all in blue states.
General to take swift action and halt this unprecedented and illegal maneuver.
It's not illegal, and it's also not unprecedented for the incoming president to halt the funding until such time that they figure out exactly where the funding is going. It's been done many, many times in my lifetime.
These are not abstract policies. These are programs that real people rely upon.
Then if your state's not providing them, you should probably start doing that.
Michigan families will suffer. Children will go hungry. Communities will lose safety protections. Schools will struggle.
What she meant to say is in Ukraine. See, she's not finishing her sentences. She means to say in Ukraine these things will happen.
I will not stand by idly. My office will continue to fight for the rights of Michiganders.
Again, what she actually means is the rights of Ukrainians, because she's not fighting for the rights of Michiganders. Nothing has been done to Michiganders. No Medicaid has been slashed. No unemployment's been slashed. No SNAP benefits have been taken. Ladies and gentlemen, he did not freeze the funding to American people. He froze overseas funding of federal programs.
For the sanctity of the U.S. Constitution and for the laws of this nation.
You notice how it's only certain unhinged people on the left that are actually screaming that something's wrong when there's nothing there? This is what they do, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, the guy caught on audio and video telling the guy from Project Veritas, whose name I can't remember right off the top of my head, but he's an amazing journalist, that they would do everything they could to make him chase his tail and chase things that aren't going on. That's what these leftists want you to do, folks. They want you to chase ghosts and argue about things that are absolutely not happening. They want to make molehills out of something that doesn't even exist at all, except in their wackadoo heads. Nothing but lies to the American people. From the Soros-funded Michigan AG. You can make up your own minds on that. I'm sure you guys know what I think. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, Trump announces he will fire federal workers who refuse to show up at work in person by February 6th. No more, I'm working from home and actually doing nothing, riding the coattails of the taxpayers and the federal government. You will either go to work or you will go find another job. That's the way it should be. If every one of us, ladies and gentlemen, have to get up and go to work every day, there's no reason just because you're a federal employee you should have it any different. As a matter of fact, you should have it a little bit worse. You work for the government. Right? Right or wrong? I'm just saying. So I fully support Trump in this myself. I think this is a great idea. If you are getting taxpayer money, you need to do your job. Full stop. Trump settles with Meta Platforms for $25 million after social giant media suspended his account in 2021. Remember when they decided that Trump no longer gets a voice just because they don't like Trump? Because they may not have agreed with something that he said or just didn't want him to have a voice at all to the American people? Yeah, you remember when they tried to take away his First Amendment rights? Yeah, $25 million later, I bet the social media giant is not happy. This is probably why Zuckerberg was trying to mooch up to Trump and try to be so very nice to him to try to get him to drop this lawsuit, right? I'd bet it has something to do with it. How much you want to bet? We'll see if the censorship continues over on that garbage platform that is, what is that, Facebook? Meta crap, garbage, whatever it is garbage. I don't use that platform, not on purpose anyway. Who would use that platform anymore? That thing needs to go the way of MySpace, at least in my opinion. And you guys can do that. The only ones that can send that the way of MySpace is you guys. So you know what to do. Stop using that program. Find programs that support what you believe in. We'll get to that story, that next story I had on the screen here in just a second. Pete Hegseth, ladies and gentlemen, Secretary Pete Hegseth, I should say, has announced that the Pentagon is going to investigate Mark Milley's conduct. See, Mark Milley, admittedly, called his Chinese counterpart and said he would warn them if Trump decided to do anything. I'm going to repeat that because that just seems really, really important. The head of the Pentagon at the time called his Chinese counterpart and said that he would undermine his own president when given or if given the chance. This man is treasonous. This man needs to be stripped of all stars and bars. He does not deserve to own, let alone wear a uniform, and let alone be called general. This man needs to be completely stripped of rank, completely stripped of duty, and given, if he hasn't already, a dishonorable discharge, or needs to be changed over to a dishonorable discharge if not already. The man needs to be buried with treasonous tidings. If you don't know what that is, have you ever seen John McCain's funeral and how ragged and wrapped up or wrinkled up that flag was wrapped around his coffin? How they showed no care for that flag? There's a reason for that. It's because John McCain was a traitor. That's not my opinion, folks. That's fact.
I want to ask you about General Mark Milley. His photo, his portrait was taken down at the Pentagon. He has, I think there's currently a commission being put together to explore whether or not he should be demoted. His security clearances have been taken away. Tell me the thought process, both there at the Pentagon, at the White House, with Mark Milley.
Accountability is back, Will. It's the understanding that if you actively undermined the chain of command, as General Milley did under the previous Trump administration, we are going to review those actions administratively inside the Defense Department. Mark Milley got a pardon. That's something President Biden was in his purview to do. Just like in our purview at the Defense Department, we have the opportunity to review things he may have done inside the chain of command while President Trump was president that undermined those authorities. So security clearance in the interim is revoked. There will be a review of the rank he will retain upon retirement, and he'll have that process. But this is a demonstration that
he needs to retain the rank of ensign, first class. You know, when you first enter the Army, The lowest low level you can get, I believe that's ensign first class. Whatever that low level is, the lowest one you can find, that's what he needs to be demoted to, and that's what he needs to retire as. And lucky he's able to do that. Because in the past in this country, trying to say too much at once, there has been a very set way of dealing with traitors. Apparently I can't say that way because, YouTube and censorship and all that garbage, but you guys know how traitors were dealt with in the past in this country. Maybe we should do that again. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, we are moving on to a different topic before my head explodes. And we are going to go into the paranormal, or is it the conspiracy? Maybe a little bit of both, as we have a bit of a new update on the drones once again, ladies and gentlemen. Again, this was sent to me last night, right after the show. Miss Cynthia Sue Larson sent this over. This was found on the X platform. I don't know if it's anywhere else. The person's name is Moneypenny, and Moneypenny has some very intriguing information. This is about 5 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and let it play.
I shouldn't be doing this. Recent confirmed defence contracts and testing activity linked to Lockheed Martin, Raytheon and Northrop Grumman 2024. After searching through federal procurement records and recent defence contract publications, the following significant findings: hypersonic UAV testing and plasma propulsion technologies near Joint Base McGuire-Dix Lakehurst. Lockheed Martin have a contract for plasma propulsion and hypersonic UAV development. The contract award date was December the 20th, 2024. It was awarded by the US Department of Defense and valued at $11.76 billion, awarded for hypersonic UAV and plasma propulsion testing. Specific focus on plasma shielding for drag reduction and stealth enhancement. And the location of the testing, I wonder where. You've guessed it, New Jersey. Scheduled at Edwards Air Force Base, other testing was going on. Test dates to begin anytime after March 2024, June 24, classified flight patterns. This is all like secret squirrel stuff. Defense government contract announcement. The second one, Raytheon missiles and defense plasma shielding for hypersonic missiles. That's why they go so fast. Contract award date, you've guessed it, December 2024. The awarding agency, the DoD Missile Defense Agency. Contract value $950 million for plasma-based direct energy systems for hypersonic missile shielding. The technology involves thin film plasma layers to reduce heat stress during, get this, Mach 5 testing. The location, collaborations between Joint Base McGuire-Dix, Lakehurst and White Sands missile ranges. The test phases focused on thermal plasma trials with limited public disclosure, or we could see them due to national sensitivity and security. Source of that was Wraith, R-A-Y-T-H-E. Most of this is the government website. Northrop Grumman, hypersonic UAV swarm and plasma control contract goes to them. That was in April 2024. We missed that. Agency awarding it, DARPA and the US Air Force Research Laboratory. Funny how it's all coming from slightly different places. Value $1.5 billion. $1.5 billion for the development of plasma-controlled autonomous UAV swarms capable of high-speed reconnaissance with plasma shielding for radar, stealth, and thermal stability during hypersonic maneuvers. Testing location, can you guess it? Woohoo! Restricted airspace in New Jersey and Nellis Air Force Base. The testing schedule, confirmed test flights to be conducted between January and March of 2024 indoors for the ongoing first phase, and then later, December 2024. Source is Northrop Grumman's own press release. The key findings on the testing and grant awards were from a publication called the 2024 Focus military publication. Hypersonic plasma propulsion tests were conducted at Joint Base Maguire, Dix, Lakehurst during the first half of 2024. Did we see a few fluttering around then? But for transparency, the grants were awarded and documented by the DoD procurement records and the SAM.gov website. The security classification, most tests under classified defense exemptions. The contract purpose, not to scare the living daylights out of us, but the contract is to focus on plasma. I said that! Plasma shielding, stealth, performance, hypersonic missile interceptions. Ashton Forbes, I beat you to it. My stealth missile. Whoosh. There you go, guys. That's where the drones came from. And in all seriousness, that's why I think we first saw them over the US military bases in the UK. God, I look dreadful. Don't look at me, just listen. Because it's magical information, isn't it? It's all sourced. It is on DoD and DTRA. It's on their sites, in plain sight. That's always where the good information is. Anyway, I have had 18 hours of no food because I had a big dental operation today.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it there. I said I would play the whole thing, but it looks like it has devolved into a little bit less of information and more of how her day has been. So go check out at Nick_Moneypenny at NIC_Moneypenny over on X. She's the one that threw this information out. Thank you so very much. And the really great part, ladies and gentlemen, she didn't just give us where to go look. She brought receipts, folks. This woman brought the receipts. So go check it out over there if you're interested in that. Definitely very fascinating topic for sure, and something we've been covering here for a while. Folks, I said it. I said it was most likely these defense contractors who have gotten a hold of something or are testing something. It's the only way that it made sense that the FAA would continue to allow them to fly like they were. So I'm going to brag a little bit. I think I'm right on this one. I think she nailed it. I think that's exactly what's going on with these UAPs. That's why they can't tell us specifically what it is. They said that they're for research purposes. Well, this would be research, right? They're defense contractors researching the testing and the flight capabilities of some of these drones or whatever they may be, right? I'm assuming they're drones of some type. They're definitely using plasma systems, though. Plasma propulsion systems. That was some very intriguing information. That would explain why it looked as crazy as it looked in some of these videos. People kept saying there was plasma. It was plasma that was being seen, and by golly, they were right. It does appear to be that there were plasma technology being used, specifically on wings, the way I understand it, for de-icing. Very interesting information there. But, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, I am the father of IMEC, the International Mandela Effect Conference, and we had a open tables today. Once a month we do the open table show. Season 5 started today, so I hope you guys go over there and check that out. International Mandela Effect Conference on YouTube. We've also got the talks from this year's conference coming out one by one each day, so make sure you stay up to date with all that. You'll get a brand new video every day until all the talks are complete, and then it goes back to once a month. Also, make sure while you're over on our YouTube, you vote for where you'd like to see us hold the next conference. That's right, where you want to see us hold the next International Mandela Effect Conference, and as well as who should receive the Golden Mandy. We have a number of choices over there. You guys go over there, check them out, cast your vote as time grows short on both of those, ladies and gentlemen, as we need time to actually set them up. All right, folks, I believe that is all that we have for today. I'm going to go try to do some live streaming on other platforms and see what we can get done. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jerry Hicks, also known as The Dark Wolf, and this has been another episode of The Dark Wolf's Den Show. We appreciate you joining the Wolf Pack, ladies and gentlemen, and until next time, how yeah, that's right. Bye, guys.